Welcome back to another episode of Where Are They Now? Here at Digital Muscle, and I am joined by one of our bodybuilding's premier artists, Miss Vicki Gates, Miss International. What year was that you won that, by the way?
Oh my God, 99, 2000, 2001.
I saw you in so many of those Arnold Classic Championships. How many of them did you do? Do you remember that?
I know it had to be 15. Maybe more.
It's a quiz show here. Where are they now?
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Do you know how many years you've been off the stage?
I retired in 2003.
Okay, 2003. So I came off in 2001. So that's basically 19. So about 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you miss it?
You know what? I do and I don't, but because I retired when I wanted to.
Yeah.
And I knew it was time, so I had reached my peak and accomplished a lot of my dreams that I wanted to do in bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And I was happy.
Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to where it all started. Because you're out of what city in Texas?
I'm out of Arlington, Texas.
Arlington, Texas, the home of Ronnie Coleman, who you're all too familiar with. You actually worked out with the great Ronnie Coleman sometimes.
Yes.
You cooked his food too.
Yes, I did.
And you were like right there in the mosh pit because I think you were established before he was, weren't you?
No, actually, Ronnie became a pro before I did.
Okay, so he turned pro winning the Universe Championship, I believe. And that would have been in 91.
And I turned pro in 93.
Okay, so you were coming up kind of right where I was. I was at the Arnold Classic back in 91.
Okay.
And you were also participated in how many Ms. Olympias?
Just as many as the Arnold.
Yeah, so
because I would go for about the same amount of time.
15 years, and so you were coming up against the likes of, you were up there with Kim Shizevsky, and Laura Craval.
Yes, I was. Those were my girls.
Linda,
yes.
You had some tough competition back in the day. And what's the one that stands out the most for you? I mean, there's a lot of shows, but which of those contests, whether it was a victory or a loss, that you cherish the most?
I think it was the one where all of us were together. It was me, Linda, Laura, and a lot of the other girls, and we had a big camaraderie as far as backstage. There was no animosity. We were helping each other with our suits and makeup and hair. You know, it was just amazing to see how well we worked together. Even though we went out on stage to battle it out, we still were just friends.
Yeah.
Laura Cavell would come to my house when they would come in town for a show. We would do cooking class, because she cooked all the time.
Right.
But come to the house and make pies and protein pies. It was just nice to just have that pleasantry, and even though we competed together.
Different for the women, because you guys would help each other, and
Yes.
encourage each other.
Yes.
The men, we'd kind of like spy.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'll come over and eat, but I want to see what's in the cabinet, what's in the refrigerator.
Right.
Yeah, a whole lot different in terms of supporting each other.
Yeah.
And now we're here, and Women's Miss Olympia's returned after a 5-year absence. How close are you to the sport? Do you still go to shows? I mean, I know you're here at the Olympia this weekend, but in your absence, when you walked away, you knew you were done when you were done.
Yeah.
Did you stay involved?
I did. I became a judge.
Okay.
I became a judge. Judge the Olympia, the
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger shows, and the main shows, the show that in Texas I was on NPC still judge too.
Right, and so I'm finding the common thread that most people, once they're in, they stay in. Like the hooks are there.
Yeah.
I never left, and I just did Where They Now with George Betancourt. And he's here because it's in his blood since he was 7, 8 years old.
Right.
But in the absence of the Miss Olympia from this historic weekend, in those 5 years, and now coming back, how did you see it? I mean, you watched it yesterday. We had a brand new champion, and is it what you used to experience when you were on the stage? Was it from watching it now come back?
Yes, it was, because I mean, we were part of that journey.
Yeah.
I mean, Miss Olympia was part of that journey, and then just for them to be dismissed and say, okay. I mean, it was kind of hard.
It was hard
because all the girls worked so hard, and we kind of made our mark.
Yeah, and they took it away.
Yeah, and so I mean, it is what it is, but I thank God it's back because it was an amazing show last night.
It was.
I enjoyed it, and the ladies were entertaining. You could just see the joy in them too, that they were back on that stage. You could just see it.
And Andrea Shaw was the reigning world champion by way of the Rising Phoenix a week ago, and she beat some pretty stiff competition there. And is that look much different than what we had before in Iris Kyle?
Yeah.
A lot
It's
different.
a lot different, but that's what they said that they were going to do. They were going to downsize. They want us to downsize. They want us to become a little bit smaller and come a little bit tighter, not as hard and not as shredded. So, and she had that look.
Yes,
I was very happy with her look. She looked amazing.
How about the prize money for the women? $100,000. Is that the most they ever got?
Yes.
Oh, she won 100,000 at the Rising Phoenix, 50,000 here. So 150,000. I think that's probably the most any female bodybuilder has won in a calendar year.
Yes, it is.
So it sounds like they're headed in the right direction because the trickle down effect. The other girls receiving the lower placement still got compensated more than what's been out there before.
Right, and that's a good thing in itself.
Yeah.
You know, being compensated for your hard work and the journey that we've been on, and we, you know, the legacy that we brought into it, and the girls being able to benefit from it, I should say.
How does a female bodybuilder know when it's too much? Like when you're on the threshold of being too big? I mean, were you ever confronted with that? Where someone said, dial it back a little, Vicky, you're getting too much? Did you have to hold yourself back?
My thing was, for me, was I had a daughter, and I would go to her school, and whether you're small or depends on how much. What a woman having muscle, it doesn't really matter. People perceive that to be, oh my God, that's a lot of muscle.
Right.
But that was my job. But I didn't want my daughter to be ridiculed either because that's what I did, and you had to take it with a grain of salt. But I didn't want her to be affected from it either. So. I mean, I did my job. I mean, I don't feel like I was overbearing or too big. I mean, I always weighed in at like 150, 145, but I looked bigger on pictures. Right. But my competition weight was 150.
Yeah, and you had a good run. How did you get involved with actually wanting to be a bodybuilder?
I moved to Tulsa with my sister, and I was always a gym rat.
Okay.
I would work out before I would even go to work. I mean, 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And this guy at the gym, he said, "Oh my God, Vicky, you look amazing." I was a track runner too. And, you know, track runners already had that.
No, Linda Murray was a big track or cheerleading. Yeah.
And he talked me into doing it, and it just became my life.
Yeah, that probably helped you with your base starting. Were you strong? Were you a strong bodybuilder?
Oh, I was. Even now, when I train my clients, I don't even go heavy.
Yeah.
I don't lift over 20 pounds because that, like we say, muscle, like we always say, muscle has memory. And I was like, I had to pull back sometime and down back, but I loved it. I enjoyed what I did.
It's an interesting read being a female bodybuilder because you are automatically going to be put into some type of a judgmental box.
Oh yeah.
Based on what you wear,
right?
How your voice sounds, whether you're flexing your muscle, and I think muscles for the women right now, it's kind of sexy. It's part of all aspects of sport, including track and field.
Right. It is.
What advice would you have for a female that wants to become a bodybuilder? Like, what would she have to do in the early phases to try to get to like an Olympic stage?
I would say be determined to finish what they started, and don't let someone take that away from your dream. Take that away, because I have people tell me, "Why do you want to do that? Why are you doing this? And why are you lifting so heavy? Or why you have so much muscle?" But that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I've traveled all over the world doing what I do.
Bodybuilding.
I went to places that I would have never ever went in my life, literally, and I appreciate that because I would. It was a dream come true, and I wouldn't want anyone to take that away from that person.
All right. So since we've witnessed all the new divisions coming, I mean, you were there when it was just men's bodybuilding and women's bodybuilding. Now we have fitness. Now we have women's physique. Now we have figure, and of course we have the wellness division. There's so many more opportunities for the female to choose what she wants her body to look like and how she wants it to be featured. Would you have still chosen bodybuilding when you first came in? Like, would that be your first choice with all these different divisions? Or would you have chosen fitness because you had this track background?
You know what? I think the other option I would have probably chosen would have been physique. Women's physique.
Okay.
But with all the options that they're giving everybody else today, it's good because everybody has their own look that they like. And I thank God that NPC giving them an out to still be in the fitness industry and still do what they love to do.
Right, spoken like a true promoter. As a contest promoter, you want all the divisions, right? You got all the different classes and entry fees. It actually benefits the promoter as well, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
And so with that being said, where do we go next? Is there even room for another division, or are we maxed out?
The only thing about that is if it is another room for division is that it elongates the show, takes the show a little longer. I think you have to add some more days to it, but I mean, if it happened, I mean, it's working now.
Yeah, but what division would that look like? I heard Bill Dobbins, you know the great Bill Dobbins, women's historian, bodybuilding expert. He says classes because it just doesn't seem like a fair fight when you've got a taller, heavier, more muscular woman and a shorter one. Remember they did try that for a while. Jola Blanchett She got an
Yeah.
Olympia title. Juliet Bergman, she got an Olympia title because of those. I believe
But you
Valentina.
remember when I remember me and Valentina was in the 2 different classes. Remember
That's
that?
right.
At
So
the
was that a good
Olympia.
thing? Because they've gotten away from that now. Was that a good thing back then? Should they have stayed with that?
I think I like it better than
Just
it is.
the best
Yeah.
of the best.
Yeah, the best of the best.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had to come up with.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I had to come up with your boy Ronnie. Well, actually, fortunately and unfortunately. I always got to interject myself in there. Ronnie was definitely coming up through everyone's rear view, right?
Right,
I
right.
first saw Ronnie coming in '96 when he was called out with me and Dorian Yates. And I was
Right.
like, what are you doing here? I remember you and Ronnie showing up in Helsinki, Finland in '92, and I just figured maybe he's there carrying your gym bag.
Right.
And he wound up on the stage. Who knew
Yeah.
that he would be coming from very last all the way to first and doing what he did? But it just goes to kind of show you it's not always where you start.
No.
You spent 15 years on that stage and you evolved into a promoter and a trainer. Are you happy in your skin doing the training now and not having any desire to get back on stage?
I am, because I'm working with a variety of different entities as far as now football. You know, I work with an agent that seems to be players, and sometimes they come and train with me. Mostly I do their meal prep.
Yeah.
They come in, because they have to, they kind of like have to make sure they're eating correctly and doing what they're supposed to do, even when they're training and stuff like that. So I kind of work with their meal prep and do their meal preps a lot. So I enjoy it. I really do.
And so when you do that, you're not traveling like you used to.
No, I'm
You're
not.
more stationary. They're coming to you.
Yes.
But your cup ran over with in terms of what the world showed you through the sport of bodybuilding, the choices that you made.
It helped.
Yeah.
It made me be a little bit more, have a little more variety in what I can do.
Yeah.
As far as neuronutrition and training and doing, and actually working with Ronnie and all the guys that I trained with Curtis and Ulysses and Gus. I was the only girl in our group.
Right.
So they kind of they took me slow, and that's why I was able to get stronger a lot easier, because they took me at a slow pace, and that's how I ended up being able to lift a little bit better, because they didn't just throw me in there and say lift it. I was technique, form, everything like that. So that helped me when I work with guys too.
So out of all the women bodybuilders in the world, who are you looking up to? I mean, you actually competed with some living legends, and before they became legends, I mean, there were girls that were before them, and when you start dropping names like a Corey Everson or a Linda Murray or an Iris Kyle, I mean, it's hard to idolize your peers, right? You competed with some of these people, but who were you looking at going, that's kind of what I want for myself?
When I initially started competing, I wanted to compete, all I saw was Carla Dunlap. I mean, that's what I saw, and I saw Corey Everson, and I saw Rachel, and that just motivated me. And then to get into standing next to Linda Murray and Laura, and oh my God, that was a dream.
Yeah, Carla Dunlap, 1983 Miss Olympia, actually lives here in Florida.
Wow.
I was wondering if we were going to see her last night.
Yeah.
We're in the midst of a pandemic, and some people are kind of like staying away. But Carla was a barnstormer when she opened the doors. But out of all of those ladies, and let's just take all of the winners,
Okay.
and you only have to pick one Miss Olympia from all of the ladies that have won it, which one represented and wore the crown to the style that you like the most?
I'm going to have to go with Linda.
Linda Murray, 8-time Miss Olympia.
Go with Linda.
You're not impressed with me knowing all the facts? I'm a historian. I fancy myself as a historian. Linda Murray, out of Detroit, Michigan, and she's here actually working the Olympia broadcast, was doing play-by-play. It's got to feel good to see everyone aging kind of gracefully. Did you happen to have any injuries while you were competing or off the stage?
I didn't. I did not. I didn't have that one. Yeah.
Start talking about some of the greats in bodybuilding. I'm recognizing a lot of athletes getting injured, and of course, the great Ronnie Coleman. A lot of people wonder, was it his style of training? Is it an addiction to weights, or maybe is it something else in terms of the injuries he's gone through?
I think it was something else, because his brother had to have hip surgery too, degenerative hip surgery, and I think Ronnie had his first. So I think that was kind of like a domino effect of when everything happened.
Yeah.
So I don't think, because Ronnie was always trained heavy. He was very cautious. He was very concerned about the form and technique and stuff like that. I just think it had a lot to do with the hip surgery first, and then it kind of dominoed.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you are one of the world's strongest and biggest, the injuries bound to happen. However, I never hear about women bodybuilders getting injured. Like, I don't hear about pec tears or back injuries. Did you ever sustain any injuries along your way?
I didn't. I did not have that one.
Because of the way you trained, or were you?
Yeah, it was the way I trained. But I think guys are more they more have to pass that. They have to pass that pressure point where
Yeah.
it's like more is better.
Mhm.
And I have to tell some of the guys when I train, hey, listen, get the form first. Don't worry about the weight. When you get the form down, you're gonna get stronger anyway.
Yeah, that
Because you're
is.
gonna have to. So I think that was more of a.
Well, that's definitely key. And you know, I think women are more cerebral. Like oh, I feel something in my
Yeah.
shoulder, and then we just keep going through it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I gotta get shoulder.
Right,
Well, it's
exactly.
crazy. So it's great to see you back here at the Miss Olympia
I'm
Championships
glad to be here.
with
Thank you.
Jake Woods, what he's done to bring that back and
Awesome.
resurrect it. And of course,
Yeah.
I know a lot of your fans out there are wondering, where is the great Vicki Gates? I found her. She's alive and well and healthy. And if people want to get trained and work with you, how can they reach you?
I am in Arlington, Texas.
Mhm.
My
You're on
name-
social media?
I'm on social media at Vicki Gates. It's Vicki Gates Vicki Gates.
Okay, put that up there.
On
they can
Instagram.
see. Nice. Well, for Miss International, 15 years as a professional on the Olympia and Miss
Yes.
International Arnold stage. We will see you on the next Where Are They Now? And I'm Sean Ray.
Thank you, Sean.